Hello, welcome to Wednesday's Not Today. I'm Mark Dennison. Hope you're doing all right. Halfway through the week already, and here's what's on today's show. Firstly, we'll be heading to Rushcliffe to hear if people there think a new crackdown on dog fouling is likely to pick up.
I feel as though it's very true that they should fine them. It's awful when you see dog mess on the pavement or in the grass. It should be cleared up.
More on that shortly. Plus, we'll be hearing how councillors in one Notts area could be told to get mandatory criminal record checks as part of their roles. Gedling Borough Council will decide whether politicians should have mandatory DBS checks as part of a plan to protect children and vulnerable adults. We'll talk about this more in just a moment on the programme. Plus, we'll be meeting an up-and-coming Nottingham-born architect who's been awarded for his work using AI in his design. Kazim Iqbal, who studied at NTU, has been described as a rising star for his expert artificial intelligence design skills, and he'll be joining us on the show later on to tell us more about his work. In sports, we'll hear from Nottingham Panthers defenceman Josh Tetlow about why he's put pen to paper on the 7th successive season with the side.
Winning season, and we had a great group last year. I'd say it's the most fun year I've had here being a Panther. It's just a no-brainer really.
And we'll be hearing from Mansfield Town Manager Nigel Clough about the club's summer plans, including the ins and outs at Field Mill.
It was a difficult one this summer because we think it was about time to bring more players in than normally we do. We'll probably be bringing 7 or 8 in.
So all of that and plenty more coming up for you. But firstly, dog owners in Rushcliffe have been reminded to pick up after their pooches or face a possible £100 fine. It's part of Rushcliffe Borough Council's renewing its dog control protection order across several parks with signage, dog exclusion zones and limiting the amount of pets a person can walk at one time. Jack Sims has more.
Dog fouling, a phrase that lingers at our public parks just like its smell. The mess on public footpaths and playing fields can cause many problems, not just for owners, but their precious pets too, with the faeces becoming a breeding ground for parasitic worms that can even cause blindness. To prevent this, Rushcliffe Borough Council has continued its ongoing efforts to target irresponsible owners and prohibit dogs in certain areas. After a consultation earlier this year, the Dog Control Public Space Protection Order has been renewed. This gives the authority power to patrol and put up signage to protect park visitors. The order also has new measures, such as limiting the number of dogs that an individual can walk at once to a maximum of 6 or even 4 in some parks. David Banks, the Council's Director for Neighbourhood and Deputy Chief Executive, says that the public must do their part to help prosecute offenders.
Intelligence-led enforcement is really important to us, and if we've got a problem in a particular park where people are saying actually at 8 o'clock in the morning, X, Y and Z walking their dogs, not picking up, then that's really important information for us, and we can dispatch colleagues to monitor the park and to actually speak to people and engage with them to make sure actually they understand what the PSPO is about. And where appropriate, we will issue fixed penalty notices to make sure that people are complying with that order.
We also spoke with several dog walkers about their thoughts of the effectiveness of the order.
But I think there ought to be more like wardens around the park. This is a huge park, so just have a few more people walking around keeping their eye out.
I've never reported anybody because you've got to actually see them doing it, haven't you? And you don't very often see that.
I agree with the dog fouling aspect of things. I mean, it's awful, isn't it, when you're sort of walking along the pavement and there's dog poo everywhere. With regards to the number of dogs that one person can walk, I find it interesting to know how they would enforce that specifically, and so I would like to sort of read into that and look into how they do that and how that might affect like dog walkers and people with dog walking businesses.
So for many proud pet owners, they're just glad that their complaints about dog fouling aren't going to waste. Jack Sims for Notts TV.
Thanks, Jack, for the report and The puns. Moving on now, it's time to talk about how politicians in one Nott area could be asked to get mandatory criminal record checks as part of plans to safeguard children and vulnerable adults. Gedling Borough Council Standards Committee will discuss these plans this week in a move which would require all councillors to have a disclosure and barring, or DBS check, within weeks of being elected. It's a move previously suggested by opposition councillors and could become effective if the council committee supports the plans on Wednesday. Our local democracy reporter Latifa Yedrouj joins us now with the very latest. Thank you for joining us on Zoom, Latifa. Why is the council proposing these DBS checks?
So now Gedling Borough Council will now consider whether its elected members will undergo basic DBS checks. There will be a meeting held tomorrow at the Council Standards Committee will meet up to review some proposals and procedures for these basic DBS checks. So this comes after a working group was formed early in March to review how such procedures will be enforced and the legalities behind that. So the reason behind this proposal is a motion was actually put forward earlier in January in a full council meeting by opposition group leader, Councillor Mike Adams. He suggested that all elected members should undergo enhanced DBS checks to safeguard children and vulnerable adults. Now, this motion was rejected due to the nature of it, and Councillor David Ellis, the portfolio holder for public protection, said that such enhanced DBS checks could raise issues and needs greater consideration. So now it's going through the Standards Committee to review the proposals and how these checks will be enforced.
Tell us about the meeting. I know you know firsthand about a meeting which got rather heated. Tell us about that. What happened?
Right, so this was a meeting earlier in January where a motion was put forward for enhanced DBS checks. Now, opposition group leader, Councillor Mike Adams, put that motion forward. It was rejected because it's saying that it raised issues and needed greater consideration. An amendment was put forward and sent to the Standards Committee to review how such enhanced DBS checks could potentially take place. But after a working group was formed, they realized and they came to a conclusion that only basic DBS checks were considered. So they sort of let go of the idea of enhanced DBS checks, saying that, there were certain issues around enhanced DBS checks as it's more so catered towards vulnerable adults and children, while district and borough councillors don't necessarily fulfill those roles like county councillors do.
You've mentioned DBS checks and enhanced DBS checks. People watching might be curious to know what's the difference between the two. Can you just explain?
Absolutely. So basic DBS checks and enhanced DBS checks are both very different. So enhanced DBS checks reveal much more information about an individual than a standard DBS check. An enhanced DBS check will reveal spent and unspent convictions. So a conviction technically becomes spent after a period of time when the conviction took place. So for example, if someone committed a crime and spent some time in jail, for example, 6 months in prison, the conviction could become spent after 2 years and won't be revealed in a basic DBS check. However, in an enhanced DBS check, this information will be revealed. An enhanced DBS check also reveals cautions and warnings and information held by local police, and also includes individuals on the children's barred list. So enhanced DBS checks are usually used by employers or organizations for people who work in teaching, foster care, care homes, and social work. So jobs around vulnerable adults and children, while basic DBS checks don't reveal much deeper information compared to enhanced DBS checks.
Okay, and just briefly, Latifa, I know you're going to this meeting, which is tomorrow. What happens after that?
So in the meeting, the Standards Committee will review proposals and legalities around how to enforce basic DBS checks. Now, enhanced DBS checks will be out of the picture. They said that because district and borough councillors do not require enhanced checks due to the nature of their roles, while sometimes county councillors require more enhanced DBS checks, such as delivering services around education, fostering and social care, while district and borough councillors don't necessarily fulfill such roles. So they say that district councillors do not carry regulated activities that require enhanced DBS checks. So the draft procedures will be reviewed by the Standards Committee, and if approved, will be moved to a full council meeting later this year.
Okay.
And will be further enforced.
All right. Thank you for the update, Latifa, there with the latest. Time for some other not news now. And a family of fraudsters who conned hundreds of thousands of pounds from elderly people have been jailed. Husband and wife Ahmed and Nadia Ishfaq Shah and Nadia's daughter Aisha Ishfaq Shah tricked and stole more than £400,000 from two now dead people after initially tricking a woman into taking over her finances before then targeting her brother too. 47-year-old Ahmed and 59-year-old Nadia, both of Coxton Road in Nottingham, have each been jailed for 6 years. Aisha has been jailed for a year and a half. 2 nights of action will target knife carriers in Newark following recent incidents of knife crime, including a murder investigation. Officers will be in pubs and bars wearing high visibility jackets on Friday and Saturday night to make people feel safe and explain the dangers of knife crime. It follows a violent incident in Castlegate last month, which led to 40-year-old James Cook being fatally stabbed in the street. 22-year-old Brandon Byrne of Winston Court being charged with his murder. He's due in Crown Court again next month. Staying with knife crime, Nottinghamshire Police are urging people to make their streets safer by handing in blades during a week-long amnesty. Bins have been placed across Newark, Mansfield, Oxclose Lane and Radford Road police stations this week as part of Operation Sceptre. The week-long project launched on Monday and follows a similar amnesty in November last year, which led to 166 weapons being recovered. We'll be back with more news and views after this short break. Hello, welcome back to Wednesday's show. I'm Mark Dennison. Thank you for joining us. Here's what's happening in Notts today. Firstly, police will deploy a mobile CCTV van following the theft of shrubs, plants and trees from Nottingham's Arboretum. Volunteers expressed their frustration on Monday after plants were stolen from a popular park over the weekend, just days after they were replanted following a separate spate of thefts. Now, Nottinghamshire Police say they're deploying a mobile 360-degree CCTV van to the area as part of efforts to crack down on offenders and to assist city parks in protecting their greenery. And a damning report has found inmates at a Notts prison are living in dilapidated conditions and many finding it easy to buy drugs inside. An HM Inspectorate of Prisons report into HMP Ramby near Retford found problems with dirty buildings, damaged facilities, graffiti and mould, as well as some prisoners struggling to get basic necessities like bedding, clean items and clothing. The report also found nearly a quarter of the 1,000 inmates developed a drug problem since going inside, with the government admitting the prison system is in crisis. Next, a Nottingham architect has achieved success on the international stage, being honoured for his AI design capabilities. Qasim Iqbal aims to blur the lines of historic depth and authenticity of Islamic culture with Baroque architectural design inspiration, which has recently won him second place award and a special recognition award as well. Qasim joins me now to tell us all about his wins and his journey into architecture. Hello.
Hi, Mark.
Sorry, you're a Nottingham lad, born and bred.
Yeah.
Nottingham student, still working in Nottingham as well.
Yeah.
We're not letting you go.
No, I'm not going nowhere.
That's good. What was the appeal with architecture? What drew you to it?
I think initially it was a little bit of travel when I was younger. Kind of exposed me to the wonders of, I guess Dubai was interesting architecturally. And then also I was really good at, well, at the time, really good at drawing and sort of maths and all of this, and you kind of put it all together and figure out your life, and architecture came about.
Yeah. How do you kind of navigate, because I mentioned there some of your inspirations. Feels like it's a real kind of melting pot of lots of inspirations. So I know some people get hung up on the old and the new, and I'm sure as an architect it's something you must wrestle with. Where do you kind of sit on this sliding scale of old meets new? Because it's a tricky one to balance, isn't it?
I think we got plenty to learn from the old. Maybe not like mimic it exactly, but there's a lot of architectural language and sort of design language that you can take and bring into they're new. So we have new materials, new technologies, so you got to use them and kind of illustrate what they were doing in a linguistic sense in your new materials and your new technologies.
Yeah, yeah. And talking of technologies, let's talk about AI, because again, some people watching might be thinking, well, I kind of hear about it, I don't know how it all works. How do you use it in your job?
Well, okay, in the job, we're still figuring that out, because it's quite, you know, everyone is a bit, it's going to take my job, whatnot.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people at CPMG that are looking to sort of integrate it if it makes sense. But everyone's interested in where it can take time away from the sort of data side of things and the less interesting side of things in architecture, and give us more time in the more design and, you know, where we can actually make a difference sort of thing. But me personally, we're trying out various things at the moment. A lot of research-based stuff and some visual stuff as well. It's tricky because a lot of projects have a lot of regulations and standards, so you got to figure out the sort of equilibrium between that and also creating something very visually interesting.
Yeah, but it's true what you say, because a lot of people do worry about, and this is one thing that I find curious. People are worried about AI taking people's jobs, and then you think, yeah, but as humans, we're getting quite deep here, so bear with me. As humans, we're controlling this, so we could stop it.
Yeah, we could.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, technically you could, but I don't think, it's almost like the age of the digital age. Like, did you want to stop the computer, look at all the things you got? I know there's negative things that come with it,
sure, but
that's just like everything, isn't it? As long as who's in control is using it ethically and thinking these things through, I don't see why it can't be helpful to everyone. Yeah.
There we are. That's them told. Congratulations on the award, or the awards, because there was more than one.
Thanks.
How did it feel, and how did it all come about?
So I post a lot of my work on Instagram and the sort of social media side of things, and someone picked it up and then they were like, "Oh, you should kind of enter our competition." So I entered it. Didn't expect to, you know, finish second in the architectural category, but I did. And then I actually entered 2 pieces of my work, which is one got the special recognition and one got an award, the second place medal.
Right.
But yeah, that was really chuffed with it, I guess.
Yeah, good for
Never
you.
expected it. But
and what's it going to do for your career? Because a lot of people kind of put it as their email signature. I don't know if you've done that yet, or on your Insta handle or anything like that.
It's in my Insta
handle. Is it?
I got to use it somehow.
Good lad. Yeah, too right, you've got to. Yeah, but it's the kind of thing that could really kind of propel you.
Yeah, no, well, even when I applied, I didn't have that award when I got this job, but I had some other accolades, I guess, which, you know, you use that in your resume. You got to use what you get. So,
of course, yeah.
So yeah, you put in the work, you got to use your rewards.
Brilliant. Well, look, really good to meet you, and congratulations once again. Don't go leaving Nottingham, because you're really not allowed, but a promotion is, you know, definitely with your awards.
Well, I'm glad it's on live telly, you know. they'll be
don't quote
watching.
me on it. I've got no influence around here. Good to meet you. Thanks for coming in. Thank you. Time now for your sport update, and we will start with Mansfield Town after manager Nigel Clough said he expects a significant number of comings and goings at the club this summer so they can better compete next season. The Sags secured their place in League One next year by finding form right at the end of the campaign. They know that they need to recruit after letting several players, including first-team regulars Christy Pym and Aidan Flint, run down their contracts. They've already re-signed Ryan Sweeney from Burton, but Clough says there's more to come over the summer.
It was a difficult one this summer because we think it was about time to bring more players in than normally we do. We usually are sort of 4, 5, 6, that sort of thing, but we thought it was the time. You know, we'll probably be bringing 7 or 8 in, maybe even 9, depending on who stays. So it was a tricky one, assessing over the course of the season who we could best use moving forward. So some difficult decisions in there.
Notts County have also confirmed the players who will be leaving Meadow Lane at the end of this season. That includes Sam Slocum, Kyle Cameron, Sam Austin, Adam Checkson, as well as attacking midfielder Charlie Whittaker, goalkeeper Tyler Miller and defender Robert Cundy. However, the Pies have also revealed that regular goal scorer Ed McGoldrick has been offered the chance to extend his stay at Meadow Lane next year. Now, elsewhere on Notts TV, it is Wednesday, which means the return of Team Talk. And today, Mark Shardlow and Charlie McParland are joined by Nottingham-born goalkeeper James Belshaw to talk about Forest's final game of the season, as well as Notts' playoff defeat as well. You can catch the full show on your TV at 8 o'clock. Or online or on our YouTube channel. Here's some of their chat about Forest's final push for the Champions League.
They're the fixtures. James, like on paper, I'm going to say Villa to beat Man United, Newcastle to beat Everton, Forest, Chelsea, toss of a coin for me, that one. But it's the last game of the season.
Yep.
Everyone knows what they have to do. Does that change things when it comes to pressure? And also, you've got Villa playing Man United. United's season's over. Are they on the beach? Same with Everton. You're talking about putting in a plan. Are the players on the beach? Talk to me about pressure. Talk to me about being on the beach.
I think the professional answer is that teams would give everything in every game. But if you're safe, if you're kind of looking towards the summer, I think there will be a slight drop-off in performance for those teams that have nothing to play for. Now, within that group, you will have players that are playing for contracts next year or are playing to impress the next club if they're planning on leaving. So there will be players who individually have something to play for. But on the final day of the season, with this much at stake for 5 teams there, is unheard of, really, in the European slots, where anyone can finish between sort of 3rd and 2nd.
As for ice hockey, Nottingham Panthers defenceman Josh Tetlow has said this season was the most fun he's had as a Panther following their playoff win last month. He's signed up for a 7th season at the Motorpoint and said continuing his stay as a Panther was a no-brainer.
Winning season, and we had a great group last year. I'd say it's the most fun year I've had here being a Panther. It's just a no-brainer, really. Pretty much, like, I live here now, met my fiance here. Love it here. I don't think I'll ever move again, really. Yeah, second home for sure. It was incredible. Like guys always, Hersey obviously would like say this year about how, you know, if you win, it kind of solves a lot of problems. Not that there's any problems, but like kind of just getting over that hurdle is massive.
In cricket, the Blaze managed a dramatic chase down to defeat Somerset with just 6 balls remaining. All-rounder Georgia Elwis recorded an unbeaten 75 as the Blaze chased down a whopping 304 target to win the match by 4 wickets in Loughborough. Maddie Green also posted 97 runs off 90 balls, including 12 boundaries, to record a 5th win of the One-Day Cup season for the Blaze. Time now for your picture of the day. This one is from our very own news editor, Andrew Topping. Ooh, someone's got a new camera. Don't forget, you can send us your pictures by tagging Notts_TV on Instagram. You don't need a new camera for that, by the way. We're not all flash Harrys. Flash. So, just realised what I did. Weather forecast. Today's high was 20. We're going down to 8 degrees overnight tonight. Mainly dry tomorrow. A little bit cooler. Temperatures about 17 degrees. A little bit more in the way of cloud at times as well. Lows of 4 tomorrow night. So a chilly one into Friday. Things picking up again. Highs of 20. Lots of sunshine around. Pollen levels are low, apparently, as well. Lows of 10. On Friday night and Saturday. That's almost the end of the show. Thank you for watching. Thank you to all of the team here behind the scenes as well. Have a nice evening. Emma's here with the latest at 5:30 tomorrow. Bye-bye.